Hello there, beautiful beings. It's Jennifer, and we're on day 3. Day 3 is a special one because we get to talk about being a master of receiving. Yay for being a master of receiving. So, if you're on Facebook Live, in the playground, if you're in our playground community, I'm so happy to be here with you. Welcome, welcome. And if you are in the glorious Agents of Awakening community, I would say to you, yay, hooray, and stick around for the after party. So, for those in the playground, basically Agents of Awakening is a place where the community of people that really are up to being the change in the world go to get leadership development and do all the great programs that we do. So, all right. So guys, master of receiving. Well, first lesson is going to be one that kind of blows most people away around mastering receiving, okay? The first lesson. And welcome everybody. I'm going to say hi to everybody here just for a second. Hi Amy. Hey Barb in Canada. Hi Joan up in north of me somewhere. Joanna, Susan down in Florida. Carol over in Texas. Cindy, Ruiz. Hi. So great to have you here. If you have friends and family that you know have been struggling or you just want to understand those evolutions in consciousness, those evolutions in behavior, those skill sets that help us develop our ability to be able to plug into life with absolute power and confidence and transcend doubt, then let them know we're here. Make sure you send them a little text or get them over, or you can send them the replay. All right, so law number 1, rule number 1, guideline number 1, whatever you want to call it about receiving, is that contrast and struggle and worry and drama in your life need to be re-perceived. Okay, they need to be re-perceived. What do I mean by that? Most people perceive all of those things as something to, and just check in with your own self and see if drama, stress, someone not behaving the way you wish they would, not being treated well, whatever it is, look and see how you perceive that. And I'm going to name some ways that one might receive that kind of interaction that would show that you go immediately out of receptive mode, okay? So the way that you perceive stress or drama is, 1, I'll make it through. You close your eyes and you're like, I hope I make it through. I'm going to be okay. Okay? And you might think that doesn't have to do with receiving, but it does. The second way we perceive stress and struggle and all those wonderful things is that we go into stress and struggle with this idea like it needs to be fixed. I need to fix this issue. I need to somehow get all over it, find the people that can hammer it home before I get on with receiving. You actually do not have to fix things that are out of whack in order to be in receiving mode. You don't have to do that first. We've been trained in first world countries, especially, that somehow everything has to be okay before we can actually fly forward and have all the the above and beyond stuff come to us. It's actually not true at all. You do not have to have everything fixed in your relationship and your finances and anything in order to be a master receiver. You can be a master receiver regardless. Okay? All right. So the next way you might perceive it, and I'd love to see in the chat if you recognize yourself in any of these things, something dramatic or stressful or difficult for you shows up in your life, okay? It shows up in your life, and you immediately go into pointing the finger. They shouldn't do that. I wish they wouldn't do that. Why did they do that? Could be on TV, could be someone personally in your life. You start doing that. The last way is that you retreat. Okay? Every single one of those reactions to stress, okay, basically what that says to consciousness is that something's wrong. And to become a master receiver, guideline number 1 is to understand, and if you can really get this today, it's life-changing. Okay, absolutely life-changing. Everybody breathe. Just breathe with me for a second and see if you can actually receive this at a level that maybe you've never received it before. That when all of those kinds of things happen to you, stress, drama, contrast, issues are part of the fabric of life. And the instant you experience them is the instant that physics already has answers. Now, you might say, you've said that before, Jennifer. Yes, I've said it before. However, most people don't really hear that it's in the design. Life changed for me when I realized that I've been spending most of my life, even in programs of personal development, trying to actually fix all of those things. I took my precious energy dollars and I thought that my life was broken. And what I'm sharing with you right now is that not only is your life not broken when those things happen, but your life is happening perfectly because you're a creator, and that contrast causes an incredible amount of clarity. There are 3 things that can happen when contrast happens, okay? You're either being redirected from what you're doing, that's one thing. So redirecting, you're doing the wrong thing and should be doing something else. The next is that you're getting clarity and refining what it is that you are doing, right? And the last is, it's just not time yet. It's just not time. It's not time to address this thing yet. It's not time for whatever it is you're doing. That's why the contrast is happening. You get me? And so it's in the design because as a creator, you need inspiration from other people doing things that you really love to reimagine, for yourself. Or you're having contrast that's showing you what it is that feels constrictive, kind of like, when the cosmos create, an asteroid hits another asteroid and something else is birthed called, some planet that happens because, everything is, gravity and all sorts of variables are happening where there's rotation and there's spiraling happening in the universe, and all that results in something else being created. And imagine that when 2 things smash up together in your life, that it's not about that there's something wrong. It's literally in the fabric of the universe that's how creativity happens. We don't perceive it like that's how creativity happens. Now you might say, well, there's an awful lot of contrast right now. Is there something wrong? There is a lot of contrast. It's asking us to be able to truly dawn our ability to receive what the answers are. And there's a lot of contrast because most people live their lives completely asleep. So factor number 2. So you get factor number 1. To re-perceive life, that contrast is actually part of the life that you're living. Contrast is actually how it's supposed to be. It's part of being a creator. It's in the design. If you can get that, you'll stop complaining about the contrast in your life. It literally is birthing every miracle to come. Your job is not to complain about it. Your job is actually to line up with the answers. So, number 2. Number 2 is a master receiver understands that intention matters very little, mental intention. So intention with your brain matters almost nada. The biggest thing about this particular point is intention matters almost nothing, because you're an embodied intention already. When your spirit came into your body, you became a walking intention. Most people are running around trying to figure out the it that they're supposed to be, and it has nothing to do with their job, has nothing to do with what they do for a living. It has everything to do with who you're being, and you were being it when you were 2 and 3 and 4 years old. And then you stopped because everyone told you how you should be, and then you changed yourself, and you went out of alignment. And then we look around outside of ourselves to other people, called an external locus of control, for somebody to tell us that we're doing life okay, or that we're approved of. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the only thing that matters is actually your emotional frequency. Because when you care about your frequency, you start receiving. But it's going to require that you stop actually concerning yourself with other people's thoughts about who you're supposed to be. You came here as a divine intention embodied in that family, in this body, that color, that size, that shape, with those eyes, with these glasses and that hat and whatever it is. It was absolutely in the design of your life. And if it's in the design, then there's nothing to fight against or nobody to make wrong in your life. It actually all the contrast you had earlier in your life, or maybe right now, is actually catalyzing an entire future. The drama or the hardship only happens when you resist, when you have a pretty picture in your mind from somewhere, TV, your parents, your culture. You have a pretty picture in your mind of who you're supposed to be. And you're trying to force yourself to be that pretty picture, or to not get someone else's disapproval, instead of actually aligning more and more and more with, let's say, the piece of the puzzle of heaven on earth that you came here to be. The instant that you consider other people in the formulation of being yourself from your heart, this is not about being myself and making sure that other people, they know that I'm doing my life right, and how dare you try to tell me what to do. No, I don't care about that. It's all me. In fact, the people that tell me to do something else, and then I feel all constricted and I try to morph myself to be something else, I appreciate them because they give me clarity, just like in point number 1. Okay? All right. The third point in receiving that is essential, crucial, paramount, is that you actually leave space. And before I came here, I actually went for a walk while the sun was going down, even if it was only 10 minutes. There must be spaciousness. That which is waiting for you lies in the space between the atoms. Think of the space between the atoms as a metaphor. Okay, so pure potential, that which consciousness creates, okay, is not in 3D. It's not atomic. It's subatomic. And what is waiting for you, based on the contrast, is sitting somewhere. It's sitting in that subatomic space as a real thing. And when you are feeling that kind of ennui inside, that feeling like, oh, something else should happen, or this should be different, or I feel like something else is coming, or that feeling of a sense of urgency, but you can't put your finger on it. Well, that's true. That feeling is happening because your higher levels have already created in the subatomic space that which is waiting for you, in multiple different forms, and with multiple different ways to actually receive those things. And what's happened with you is that the difference between what you're living and the vibration of what's waiting for you is causing that strange, wonderful, oh my God, like, where is it kind of feeling. It's okay to have that kind of dissonance of like that urgency of something calling you and not know what it is. But the answer to that feeling is not to freak out. The answer is, how can I feel better now? how can I align now? How can I get myself into the alignment with that human, that frequency, that emotional state now? How can I do that now? Nothing else matters. Trying to figure it out what it is. I know you do that. Have you ever done that, where your brain tries to figure out what it is that's waiting for you so that you can resolve the urgency, that feeling of you're being called or that there's something more, and your brain tries to figure it out? But so you trying to figure it out mentally is like the opposite of going and doing something that creates spaciousness. When you create space in your day, especially when you create it in a way that has you experiencing beauty and experiencing goodness in your life, or being in appreciation, what you do is you're a three-dimensional metaphor for what's happening in metaphysics. The three-dimensional metaphor is you're behaving, or you're acting as though there is space in your life. There's possibility. You're actually accessing, when you take non-rational, completely non-strategic walks, or a completely, just for the pure joy of it, play with your dog. Or if you go to a forest and you just enjoy the bird songs. The instant you get yourself in that space, you're in the space between the atoms, and in the space between the atoms, because you're in the space between the three-dimensional landed aspects of your day. And when you're in that kind of land of there's no real reason for what you're doing, you're also in the land of what's waiting for you, in the not three-dimensional world. So those are 3 variables. There's probably around 11 variables of becoming a master receiver, but I would say for right now, those are my top 3. So if you just got here, you can go back and listen. The second thing is that, and I hope you go back to listen to day 1 and 2. I can't wait to get on with tomorrow, because tomorrow, day 4, is all about, and I want to make sure I say this right, we're going to talk about a new superpower for human beings. We're actually going to present some codes that have to do with an ability that was birthed during these crazy COVID blah, 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 insane vaccination, everyone's arguing kind of times. There's an ability that you have that has you be able to reach to the third entity, or solutions. So glad you're here, Renata, as well. And Carol, oh, I'm so glad you're going for a walk to the Eco Park. Yay. So tomorrow we're going to talk about a brand new innate ability. That's going to be super juicy. I don't know if you know this, but one of the things when you buy the book, in the book is a link, because in chapter 12, which is all about human superpowers, we're actually going to do a part of chapter 12 live together, but you'll get the link to it in the book. Okay, so make sure when you get the book, you look at chapter 12, and then we can go and all play in early March, and we're actually going to do an innate abilities class at no charge, and that's just a gift from chapter 12 of the book. So I can't wait to do that. So happy that you all joined me on the playground, and if you're on Agents of Awakening, stick around. In the meantime, if you guys have not signed up for our release party for the book UNSTUCK, because this is all inspired by the book. If you haven't yet, actually put your name in, so we can update you as to what's happening on the release party and the time and all that kind of stuff. You can go to thewideawakening.com/unstuck, okay? And just make sure you register so we can get you the information on the release day. And I can't wait to celebrate with you. So many cool things. We've even got a bunch of stuff to give away, and I'm excited because we haven't done that before. So it's just going to be really super fun. Okay, you guys, love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.